Poor soul. I touched her arm gently as I moved away. I don't always do that. I get them and I get their money and I go. This one was sweet. You always have to target someone who's good-natured, sweet. The eyes have to show it. You have to work a lot with their eyes when you're working them. Eye contact means a lot. If they're loaded with shopping bags, it's even better because they can't run after you when you've got the money. You can run. I'd do it well. You've got to give me that. This was a good one. Made me work for it though. You have to dress well. The Christian looking cross round my neck. I think that helps. I dress soberly, well, clean. Like I've just been bereaved maybe. I don't always use that one, but I did this time. I said, I've just been to register my mother's death. And she said, oh, where? It's not near here, the registry office. It's down in Peckham. Nearly had me that time. So I had to show her the crime report on shaky ground there, because you have to print a copy every day with today's date on it, and I couldn't remember if I had. But she hardly looked at it. The key to it all is coming out with the passport thing as soon as you can. I can leave my passport with you. Makes them start to think you're genuine, or maybe they can trust you. You have to keep the story simple. The handbag is slashed open, down and then across, and as if someone's really cut it on the tube with a Stanley knife. But the tube's not being crowded these days. Might make them want to hesitate. But usually that gets them going. You poor thing, poor soul. That sort of thing. I don't remember which one it was with this one. But you have your passport in your coat pocket, open at the photo page. They don't look closely enough, but they check the photo and the name, and they often say your name and look into your eyes. Eye contact, what did I tell you? But I've never had to leave my old passport with anyone, as a guarantee as it suggests. Credulous, that's the word. Once they start believing you, you slowly reel them in. Slowly, but not too slowly. The longer it takes you, the more chance there's something going wrong, or from the beginning to suspect something. You don't ask much. You just often you offer their name and what same as on the passport, naturally, and you give them an email address and a phone number. They won't have a piece of paper, but of course you have a notebook, which wasn't taken when your purse and your phone were stolen, when the bag was slashed. I have a Bible in my bag, and this one looks inside and says, "They didn't take your Bible." Got her. Keep it simple. You don't have enough money to get home. When I work in South London, I say I've got to get to Oxford. Well, just beyond actually. I say if they ask, I mention that I need about 25 quid. The ticket I came down to town with was in the purse if they ask. What should they ask if why you're registering your mother's death here? But they don't. The answer would be that she lives down the old Kent Road in Peckham. So this one today, she says, will 20 quid do? That's when I have to say a place. I said, Irnsham. So there's another So she says there's another bus from Oxford Tube. Oh, I know, Eynsham. Oh, that was a moment, I can tell you. So I write down the address, the real one, in Eynsham, and you have to have 2 addresses, just in case, but you must not let them ring a friend. No, phone a friend, a big no-no. Well, this one, with her big Sainsbury's shopping bags, she only had 20 quid on her. She said, at that point you look all humble and grateful and not wanting to impose, all that sort of thing. I'm good at that. I'd made a good actress if I'd had the chance. When she opens her purse, there's all these credit cards and things, and you have to resist temptation, whether to grab them and make a run. And snatch it, but because by now they're so bloody trusting you, you can make them do a dance for you. If you don't think you're overdoing it, you can press the passport on them again and ask what other kind of guarantee they would like. But if you've done your job properly, then they should be ready to give you the cash by now. This one says, you can get a bus from over there. It'll take you to Marble Arch, where you can get the Oxford Tube bus. So you have to do the grateful thing and smile and say, thank you, my dear. Thank you so much. I'll be in contact as soon as I can. And you touch their arm gently as you turn to go. I wanted to get the tube, but I thought I'd better take the bus that she's just shown me. So I stroke her arm and smile at her, ever so humbly, and I get on the bus. Don't let her see my Oyster card. I wonder what she's thinking. She's picking up her bags now, and she looks towards me, smiles, sort of waves. But there's another woman sitting near the back of the bus. She looks a good target. Keep my distance. Here goes. Poor soul.
My name is Ros Worley and I play Rose.
My name's Mina Temple and I play Marion.
I thought you'd buried that bastard already.
Cremated.
Keith chose a fry-up.
It's very popular.
Cheaper too.
Barely. You've still got the funeral home, pallbearers and urn. I picked a wicker coffin and that was pricey. Cardboard was an option, but Ralph said I couldn't send Keith off like an Amazon parcel.
How is Ralph?
As always, he's getting a bit obsessive about the menu for the memorial.
Memorial?
For Keith.
Whose bright idea was that?
It's at Mansfield Hall on Tuesday the 2nd, 1 p.m. sharp. Afterwards, we'll scatter Keith's ashes in the woods behind the football field.
What did Keith ever do that was worth memorialising?
Of course, as the eldest, I'm expected to give the eulogy.
Nothing's expected, Marion. We don't do memorials or ash scattering in this family.
Yes, well, it's just a small gathering and all arranged now, so let's not have any arguments, okay?
Please yourself, you always do.
I want your help with the last bit.
Why would I want to help you?
Sisterly support, duty, kindness. Stop me when something rings a bell, Rose.
I'm not coming and not helping.
Ralph wanted to do a barbecue for the lunch, but I said, under the circumstances, that's not really on.
I wouldn't show up if your husband was serving champagne and caviar.
I'm veering towards egg and cress sandwiches and butterfly cakes, because Auntie likes them.
Hang on, Marion. Did you explain to Auntie Violet exactly what's happening here?
Of course.
And she gets it. This isn't something people of her generation do. Auntie Violet's growing quite delicate. Last time I visited her, all she did was sob.
Why?
No idea. Couldn't get anything out of her. Just kept saying how well I'd turned out, as if she'd stumbled on my school reports.
Oh dear.
Exactly. I think it's time she came to live with one of us. I can't see any alternative. I'm not putting her in a home.
I know. Me neither. We'll talk it through later.
And that new carer's sodding useless.
Brenda?
No, she's long gone. The agency's had 3 new women in since her.
Damn. Auntie really liked Brenda.
She liked her because Brenda let her cadge fags and gave her carrot cake for breakfast.
Carrot cake is part of Auntie's 5 a day. You're always so strict about things, Rose. There's nothing like a little jam sponge and a cup of tea for breakfast.
Unless you're 85 with high cholesterol and a dicky heart.
I think I love cake more than I love the cat. You know what Ralph said when I asked him to make his butterfly cakes for the memorial? He said, only if I didn't eat any, because I was thickening. Thickening! That was his word. As if I was a white sauce.
Perhaps he wasn't talking about your waist.
Mum always said it was better to have fat on your face when you get older. Women look much more attractive as a cow than as a goat.
Did you make that up?
No.
Look, Marion, throw this memorial if you want, but please don't drag Auntie into this. She won't be at all comfortable with you flinging Keith into the undergrowth, even if he is incinerated.
That's where you come in. I need you to do the scattering.
Why can't you?
Frozen shoulder.
Use your other arm.
You didn't attend your brother's cremation, Rose, and if you don't show up for his memorial, people will talk.
People? What people? His one friend from work and a couple of old blokes from the King's Head.
Selfish?
I call it honesty. Mum always said, when in doubt, tell the truth.
So I'm a liar now.
No, I just wish someone in this family would come clean. Tell it like it was. I always hated Keith. I care bugger all that he's dead, and if it was up to me, I'd flush his ashes down the toilet.
No, you wouldn't.
Try me. Let me give the eulogy so I can remind everybody what a bully our brother was and how he ruined our childhood.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he bloody did, and you know it. How do you do that?
What?
Go around pretending everything's just fine. You act like it's your job to police the family, to make sure that everyone keeps quiet, that nothing unpleasant gets revealed on Marion's watch. Memorial. Unbloody believable. Keith was a nasty piece of work as a child, just a rotten little thug, and adulthood did nothing to improve him.
You exaggerate.
Think so. Do you know that I spent most of my childhood pretending I'd been adopted? I hated everyone.
Rose!
Why didn't anyone stop him?
Oh, Rosie!
Some night I prayed to God you'd all be killed, just wiped off the face of the earth.
Ooh, bit harsh.
It would be very sudden, one huge explosion and you'd all be gone.
Where did you imagine that we'd all explode?
In a car crash somewhere on the A14.
The A14 was a model A
It
road
floods
of
in
its
bad
time.
weather.
Rubbish! Norfolk is the driest county in England.
Well, that year there was freak storms and flash flooding throughout East Anglia, and despite national weather warnings, Mum and Dad recklessly drove off with you and Keith in a very, very heavy thunderstorm.
Why?
Why what?
Why did Mum and Dad recklessly drive off in this freak rainstorm?
Maybe they were late for the Harwich ferry, I don't know.
But you survived.
I wasn't in the car. Do pay attention. I had to stay behind with Auntie Violet because I had the measles or a very bad cold. Anyway, The best bit is that the crash made the front page of the Eastern Evening News.
Local family gets burnt to a crisp in terrible blaze, leaving behind an innocent little girl.
Exactly.
And there'd be a picture of you, sitting on a blanket in the garden.
Hugging my teddy.
Heartbreaking.
There's a silver lining.
Of course.
The publicity would bring me to the attention of my real parents, who claim me as their own.
What a coincidence. Fantasising about being adopted, when, actually, Rose, you were.
Oh, ha-ha.
It's funny how kids pick up undercurrents. You must have instinctively known.
Know what?
That you were adopted.
You're going to have to try harder.
Honestly, I only found out about it last year when we were putting Dad into care. Your adoption papers were amongst his belongings. 3 pages in a manila folder from 1953.
What?
Apparently, it was common in those days. An underage girl gets pregnant, no offer of marriage, whiff of scandal. So a family member steps in, preferably married with kids, takes the baby and raises it as their own. The only thing odd is that Mum and Dad chose to make it legal.
What the hell are you on about, Marion?
Well, the fact that you were Dad's niece was enough. They didn't have to legally adopt you.
This isn't funny.
Oh, I see. Your adoption isn't one of the family secrets I'm supposed to reveal in this new purge to spill all the beans. I'm sorry, Rose. I didn't plan on telling you like this.
You know, this is just not possible.
I'll bring you the documents. They're rightfully yours.
Auntie Violet,
Yes.
did Keith know?
No,
So he was just a fucking sadist.
he was. Rose, if it's any consolation, Keith left me explicit written instructions that he was to be buried next to Mum and Dad at Beaconsfield Cemetery.
But you...
Yes, I ignored his last requests. Now you'll get to dump him behind the football field where he belongs. See you next Tuesday, 1 o'clock.
Okay.
I thought everyone had an alternative life, don't we? Even several alternatives. Maybe it starts when you're a child and have your invisible special friend. Or is that an only child thing? I know there have been lots of people in my invisible life. The main one was working in Cairo. I had studied Arabic, you see, and worked there on secret things for the government, and read Naguib Mahfouz and loved every minute, and listened to the wonderful songs of Kulthum. My alternative self adored her and had all her records. I still love her. Or the kind of person who would host diplomatic dinners in Kuwait. Surely everybody imagines themselves as a great hostess with lots of distinguished people round her table. That's the kind of me that would have emerged from my university chrysalis if I had done Arabic. The first woman in charge of the Middle East desk at the Foreign Office. How about that? She's not sporty though, not even artistic. But there are lots of chrysalises, is that the plural? You never get the chance to emerge from. Lots of unfulfilled butterflies. And you wonder when it was that the chrysalis opening turned into a door that closed. What was the moment? What decisions turned your life that had butterfly beating its wings in, where was it? And having an effect halfway across the world. Was there a moment when I might have been that butterfly? Or did I close off the possibility by deciding for a life more ordinary? Was it marrying? Potential? Choices? When young people die nowadays, there are always tributes saying she was an aspiring model, or scientist, or footballer, or whatever. And we know she would have turned out not a butterfly, just a person with a life and loves, we hope, and potential, and a real day-to-day existence, like most of us do. Nobody aspires to have an ordinary life and an overdraft. I am still out there on the diplomatic dinner circuit. I have a different smile for these occasions, dress differently, have my hair more glam, never feel shy about who I am. How many chrysalis rebirths in a lifetime? You emerge to be a mother out of a long, long time wondering if that will ever be one of the many who you are, a mother. And then a grandmother emerges, and it's you. And then what? I cherish my alternative lives. It's not what might have been, not could have been a contender stuff. It's the joy of an over-fertile imagination, as my mother would have said. But I'm sure she must have had the escape of fun lives in her mind too. Maybe not the obvious things like films, although I know she loved Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire. But everyone in the world could only dream of being them. She had dreams for her children too. Mothers make each child a chrysalis. I love my other selves. They take me places I have never gone to. They make me smile. They give me memories which are almost as real memories. They are a part of me as I am a part of them. And look at me now, heading fast towards another. Out of the chrysalis of today, a new reinvention. Who knows what, where, when? Lives in a life, each chrysalis forming a new creature, flying out on butterfly wings and never stopping until a new chrysalis forms and the butterfly goes even higher. I thought everybody had an alternative life, don't we?
Her ponytail. She was diminutive in the crisp white uniform of the pizzeria. Lunchtime crowds were pouring in, and she had just settled a group of 10, fresh from a poetry reading. They occupied the centre of the room, filling the space with energetic arguments about Lucretia and the nature of things, completely disregarding the menu. She offered the wine list. Might they like a drink whilst deciding their choice of food? She moved away, returned to wait, then drew herself up and commanded, "Prego!" Silence fell, and slowly orders were given. It was a long shift. She needed the money for her course at medical school. And there was her concern about her beautiful mother, who had been a brilliant businesswoman. Now she couldn't remember breakfast. Arriving home at 10 o'clock, Lucia heard her neighbours greeting and stopped to chat. She learned that her mother had left, wearing an evening dress, 2 hours before by taxi. The house was silent. There was no record of telephone, of a taxi being ordered, no history of calling friends. Upstairs in her mother's bedroom, Lucia felt awkward. Dresses hung drunkenly on hangers. Shoes had been kicked across the floor, and there was a trail of jewellery from chest to bathroom. Considerable options had been tried. There was no way of knowing what the final choice had been. But where had all these baubles come from? They were not the accessories of a classical dresser. And where could she have gone? Lucia called her father, who was visiting Rome. She could see his large, expressive hands. Honey, she has masses of friends. What's there to worry about? He did not accept that his wife was being forgetful. She got a similar reaction from her two sisters, who were on a sleepover and full of laughter, describing the film they had just seen. She wished her family were more supportive. At 2 o'clock in the morning, her reluctance about invading her mother's privacy was wearing thin. She climbed the stairs, tossed her ponytail, and marched up to the bureau. There was no reward for this determination. Letters, invoices, and statements were in orderly files. Address books yielded nothing of interest. She prowled round the room. Where did mothers in a shared bedroom of a 40-year-old marriage keep their secrets? Frantic now, she pulled open the doors of the cupboard on the landing, which stored all the memorabilia. There were picture frames, tricycles saved for future grandchildren, and suitcases with colourful labels. Opening a battered cabin bag, she found an old camera with an unprocessed film inside. Could this date from the time she and her mother had gone to Rome on their own? Her cousins had taken her to the Colosseum when the grown-ups were at meetings. She flicked through photographs of beach and birthday scenes, cocooned in family rituals. No alarm bells there. Something glittered by the far wall. Oh, a CD she had long forgotten about. The plaster bulged and crumbled, damage from a burst pipe 2 winters ago. Near the base, a paper bag had been stuffed into a hollow in the wood. She tugged to left and right until it became free. Inside, there were intimate letters. There was an only sign with an AS squiggle. They were not for her eyes. Aghast at what she'd done, she found it hard to explore further, but there was an urgency to find a link. Down in the lounge, she turned on the radio. There was no news of traffic accidents. A key turned in the lock. Mum, where have you been? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Is that all, darling? You shouldn't have waited up. But you're always in bed by 10. Boring, said her mother, gliding upstairs in green chiffon. I'll try higher heels tomorrow night. Much more elegant for tango. Thank you.
Maggie and Reggie, who live next door to each other. They have adjoining balconies. Hello, Reggie. How are you with all this COVID business then?
Maggie, I didn't see you there. Give me a turn. I'm okay, I suppose. Feeling a bit nervy, what with all this staying inside like. Not sleeping much, no exercise, nothing. Not allowed to go out. And the boy's home from university. They sent him home. Thought we got rid of him. Just joking. Of course, Gareth is happy to have him here. Cooking him all sorts of special things. Well, when we can get them, supermarket run out of all sorts, you know. No salmon. Gareth was upset. I'm not so keen on salmon myself. Funny pink colour. Know what I mean? Anyway, never got it. Gareth had to make do with tins of tuna. Fish. The boy likes fish. Not a meat eater. Give me a good sausage any day. But we haven't had any of those recently either, I can tell you. No sausages for our Nicholas. I mean, he's a good boy, don't get me wrong, but just that Gareth fusses over himself. Spoils him.
You're feeling left out then, Reggie?
Well, me? No. Just that I'm not used to sharing the space, you know. It's not a large flat. Not really room for three of us. And I daren't go out anymore. Went out last week and the coppers sent me home. I was just sitting at the bus stop. Too far to walk to the park all in one go, so I had to sit down for a rest. And this young copper come along, accuses me of loitering. Trying to explain. He wouldn't hear.
So you're bored, stuck inside now?
Sorry to be grumpy, man. How are you getting on anyway?
I'm fine, Reg. Busy. Keeping busy. I've got my choir. Of course I can't go out, but we Zoom. You know Zoom. It's people meeting online together. Like Skype, but lots of people. Not just one-to-one. So we all sing together. Twice a week, it's brilliant. Woo woo! And of course there's Barney. Woo woo woo! Yes, hello Barney. You can hear me, can't you? You know I'm talking about you. Woo! Keeps me busy all the time.
Taking him out for walks? All the time?
Me? No, I'm too busy with my little garden here. I've been renting him out. It's turned into quite a business. People are dying to get out and they need an excuse. £5 an hour. Ooh, I wish I had 2 of him. Or 3. I could make a fortune. And now he has his regulars who take him out every day. That large young man who lives upstairs, Harold. Mrs. Gallimore in the next building, except she tried to give him chocolate for a treat one day. And I had to have words about that. And then there's that famous pop star who lives around the corner in the Mews. What's her name? The one with the strange hair. I can never remember their names. I was out with Barney one day and she admired him. So I suggested she could walk him. He's had his photo in that celebrity magazine and all. But I charge her £10. Well, she can afford it.
That's a great idea, man. I wish we could have a dog. But Gareth, allergic. Nicholas wanted one all the time he was growing up. Asked for a dog every Christmas.
Well, listen, Reg, I think you should take Barney out. I think it's the answer. Then they can't say you're loitering and such.
I can't really afford £5 a time.
Of course I wouldn't ask you to pay. Don't be silly. We've been neighbours for years. What's this COVID thing if we can't help our neighbours? I should have thought of it before.
Oh, Maggie, that would be... Oh, I'd love that. And I could... Maybe do you think Nicholas would like to come along with us? Wouldn't that be great? I'll just pop inside and ask him.
Rothko 15, Ars Longa, Vita Brevis. I like to sit in the sun, looking across the river to St. Paul's, my favourite panorama of London, from the terrace of the Members' Cafe at the Tate Modern. This time of the year, the sun doesn't stay long on that side. So today, when I finished my coffee, I moved to the sunny side. It's the side without much of a view, just all those tall buildings changing the landscape, but striking in the sunshine. Has everything gone to hell in a handcart? Is it all worse than ever? Well, probably not. Ars longa, vita brevis after all. Art lasts. Life is short. The Greek word, it was our old friend Hippocrates, you know, who said this. The Greek word is tekne, meaning craft, creating, rather than art created. I like the difference there. Craft and creation in times of death and destruction. When I moved across to the sunny terrace, I got my laptop out. There was a gentleman at the table nearby, socially distanced, of course, and I asked him if he knew the password here. Rothko 15, he told me. Great password, isn't it? He said. I could see what he meant. I smiled my thanks to him. Yes, it is, I said. Even though Rothko isn't in this gallery anymore. I didn't know that. Yes, they moved him over to Tate Britain. I thought the Rothko room was the very best thing here at the Tate Modern, I said. Couldn't agree more, he said. A moment of social contact. Learning something I didn't know. Then going back to my computer and he to his. It isn't all going to hell in a handcart when you can strike up a pleasant, civilized, cultured conversation like that. I miss that kind of conversation. When you're on your own, you don't often get that opportunity, unless it's the usual conversation with the usual circle about something you've seen, theatre, TV, whatever. For the first time in a very long time, I wish I could think of a way to keep the conversation going. I look over in his direction, and he's actually looking in my direction too. He smiles. What is this? Am I actually feeling embarrassed? Oh dear, I don't know what to do. I keep looking at my laptop. I don't know how long I sit like that, feeling strange. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I notice him standing up, putting his things away. Nice meeting you, he says, and turns to go. Maybe we'll meet here again someday. A bit like the old line. Do you come here often? I think. And then he goes. That brief encounter changes my day. A positive kind of sigh. A bright sunshine moment. I don't want to say it made my day. Do I? Maybe it did. Make my day. I decide I want sushi for lunch. There's that nice place near Borough Market. I like to sit in the sun. So I stay for a while, enjoying the calm, seeing things with that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. Then I get up, put my things away. I haven't really looked at anything on my laptop. I pay a visit to the Dali Lobster telephone in the collections downstairs. It's still there, as always. The South Bank is quiet. A nice stroll along the river, past the globe. The tide is out. Autumn is beginning to set in. When I get to the sushi place, there he is again. He looks up and smiles in recognition. I was just about to leave, he says.
I'm Rose Borley and I play Helen.
I'm Karla Ptacek and I play Caitlin Perkins, and the action takes place at Caitlin Perkins' Docklands apartment late one Sunday night.
Lizzie Wilson got groped at a photo shoot for In Excess.
In Excess, the clue was in the name.
She dropped him with a groin kick.
Beautiful. A classmate of mine, Frances Wilton, when we were 14, yeah? Our history teacher, Mr. Davis, pinned her against the wall of the art supply room and she escaped by jamming a stick of charcoal up his nose.
That takes precision.
And force. Caused a hemorrhage. He had to go to A&E, never to return. We had a supply teacher for the rest of that year. Shame, really. He was a cracking history teacher. He told us that his great-grandmother, on Saturday mornings, she would go to Norwich Castle to watch the hangings.
Pass the dip, sweetie.
Do you know that half the people in this country are still in favour of capital punishment?
I'm surprised it's only half. When we had that mad cow epidemic in the 90s, you remember?
Vaguely.
Well, we did, and we couldn't eat roast dinners. Anyway, there was this simultaneous explosion of football hooliganism, and Germaine Greer recommended that we resolve these two problems by eating the hooligans. All that young prime meat in lieu of our infected cattle.
Don't turn the other cheek, eat the other cheek.
Cattle.
Is it always men?
In my experience, yes. Case in point, I was 7 months pregnant with Josie. We were living in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. It was a proper dump then. I'm walking down Roebling Avenue with 2 bags of shopping, and the car pulls over at the light. There's a pair of Hasidic men in the back. There's a pair of Hasidic men in the front, and another younger one in the back seat. I didn't take much notice. Hasidim never speak to women. Then I realised the driver was gesticulating to me, so I moved closer to see what he needed. He couldn't look me in the eye. How much for a blowjob?
What the fuck?
Right. There was this moment of utter disbelief, and then knee-jerk reaction, I suppose. I yelled, "Go fuck your mother!" It was the nastiest thing I could think of to offend them. As they drove away, the little Hasid in the back seat kept looking at me like I was dirt, less than dirt. I'll never forget it. I felt like they'd insulted me and my baby. Given the chance, I'd definitely have done some die-hard retribution that day.
You ran a successful interference with your little potty mouth, Helen. You conjured up for them this vision of their mother's holy vajijas.
Oh no, Katie, don't say vajija. It sounds like a cheese slice.
Pho burger?
That's a wild food documentary.
Cunty love button.
Better, but still. Why do men name their dicks? I don't know any women who've named their vagina.
Well, my sister, when she was little, she used to call her vagina her woo. She reckoned that all women were men with woo, that we were all woo men.
Oh, woo, so sweet.
Hey, top up you. We're slacking. Got to finish this lot by midnight.
Then it's 12 hours of nil by mouth for Helen. Now that was a very, very sad film.
We are not doing sad, Helly. We're doing angry.
All right, okay, here's one for you. How come old French women feel empowered to unveil their bodies at the beach?
Better weather?
Granted, but British women, past 60, 50 maybe, they've somehow learned their bodies are unsightly. The French might have better weather, but they don't have better bodies. And yet there they are in their 70s and 80s, these old French girls, strapped down, bronzing their enormous torsos at the shoreline like magnificent beings. I won't be going topless ever again.
Helen, you don't know that.
My chest will be terrifying.
Is it too late to consider a reconstruction?
Like a crime scene?
Or a historical building damaged in war?
They don't reconstruct in war zones. Too dangerous.
What about a monument? Or a plaque?
Now, I could see wearing a plaque, like a Sambutu woman. It would have to be intricately beaded and bear the legend, "Here come two slightly asymmetrical 34Bs on temporary loan to the wearer," apparently.
That'd have to be a very large plaque, Helen. It'd be very hard to coordinate outfits with that around your neck.
At least the plaque would hang flat. Did I tell you about my great Aunt Ruth's breasts?
Not yet.
Well, when great Aunt Ruth was a teenager, she bound her breasts with muslin to ensure her dresses would fall smoothly from the collarbone in that flat-fronted flapper style of the 1920s. But all of that prolonged bondage destroyed her memorial structure.
Oh, I like that. Memorial structure.
I
Memorial.
suppose it was like foot binding, except rather than crippling her, it just left her flat-chested for the rest of her life. Stuck with that one silhouette, that one style of dress forever.
A cautionary tale. If we're going to disfigure our bodies for fashion, we better make damn sure it's for a timeless fashion.
Nothing's timeless. We disfigure ourselves for nothing.
Was it noticeable?
I don't think so. We adored great Aunt Ruth. Her body didn't matter to us. She led a pretty, blameless life.
That will be my epitaph. The graffiti on my gravestone will read, "I blame Caitlin Perkins for everything. It's all her fault."
Who the hell will be defacing your grave?
Mr. Davis?
The history teacher?
Yes, I slept with him.
The pervy history teacher?
Yes, and I told the head.
You told her what?
I told the head teacher, Mrs. Morswell, a vile, despicable woman that should never have been let loose on teenagers. I told her that I slept with Mr. Davis and that I'd done it willingly. I emphasised that I was complicit, I guess, and that if he hadn't tried it on with Frances Wilton, well, I wouldn't have said anything. Talk about looking at somebody as though they were dirt. Moswell looked at me as though I was dog shite.
Oh, how awful.
Yeah, so much squid came down, Helen, so much frigging squid. They called my parents in, and the police. they sent me then to this specialist psychiatric social worker, and she was really, really fat. I mean, totally obese, and I couldn't look at her because at that point in time I had this phobia thing about fatness, and because I couldn't look her in the eyes, she thought I was ashamed, but I wasn't. I loved having sex with Mr. Davis. We did it in the back of his car and in the countryside on a picnic blanket. He was tender and so fucking sexy. It wasn't dirty and it didn't feel wrong. He helped me find my style. Can I say that? Is that a fucking style? Is that something? Oh, I don't know what I'm saying, Helen.
How long did it last?
About a month. I think he had a crush on me. I made him laugh. But to the police and my parents and the school, I was the victim of a sexual assault. The policeman who took my statement wanted to know all the details about the station wagon and about the picnic blanket. I told him that there was cow parsley, poppies and cornflowers in the field that June. He thought I was having a nervous breakdown.
What happened to him?
Mr. Davis? Nothing. I mean, I suppose they fired him, but nothing happened. It was 1970. Maybe they gave him a caution or a fine.
Bloody hell.
Jesus, what a downer. I shouldn't have turned down that dark alley. Pass the bottle.
And everyone knew?
Oh. Oh, yeah. The rest of my school years were spent honing myself into a freaking fierce force of nature.
You excel at fierce, Katie.
Thank you. I do. It protected me, kept me detached. I didn't miss anything. By sixth form, most of the girls in my year were having age-appropriate relations, which meant that every Friday and Saturday night they'd get blind drunk in order to get laid by some pimply-ass boys. Getting laid, like a bloody paving stone. You know, I didn't have one drink with Mr. Davis, not a drop. We didn't need to.
What he did was wrong, though.
He didn't harm me.
But what he did was wrong. You were only 14.
I only regret the fallout. I wouldn't have missed Mr. Davis for the world.
I need to get a wee bit more smash.
God, what a shit friend I am. Sorry, Helen.
One
I
more?
think alcohol... Oh, all right then. Cheers. Go on then.
Caitlin, I feel a commemorative toast coming on.
Well, about time, allow me. We are gathered here tonight to celebrate and bid a fond farewell to Helen's outstanding breasts. Helen.
To my breasts, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for always being there for me. Through every decade, you made everything hang better.
To Helen's breasts.
And I love you, both of you, an awful lot.
And apparently you're not the only one there. I hear that they've had a lot of admirers in their time.
Indeed they have. Did I tell you about the time Russell Crowe made me breakfast in bed?
If you mean that fuckwit Russell Crowe, the Aussie actor who said that all actresses should be age appropriate, then yes, you did. How was it?
Quite nice. Avocado, eggs, toast.
And the shag?
Oh, can't remember the shag. Top points for the breakfast though, eh?
Cheers.
My feet are killing me. Well, I said, given the complete lack of direction around here, that's how I see the character. Left to my own devices. It's not comedy, she says. It's social realism. Bleeding tragedy, more like. That's what I thought. I didn't say it. But I have to live with the consequences of my own casting. Cheek, I thought. Try it again. And try to make it not quite so camp. Camp, I said. What? Twa, she said. You can tell the kind of she is. Again? My feet are killing me. Silence. I look at her. She can see what I'm thinking. No acting required there. I said, do it different. Make it more believable. Well, there's not a lot to go on. Don't just stand there and say it. You've got to act it. She'll be coming out with the no small parts bit again. Usual stuff. So, I decide to give it my all this time. My feet are killing me. She comes over, takes me by the elbow, a bit over bloody familiar, I thought. Look, darling. It's darling now, is it? I think to myself. Can you just come on, take a breath, and say the line? No histrionics. Well, that was it. Histrionics. How very dare she? So that was when I told her. Serves her right for casting that ridiculous old queen in the lead. He'll never learn all the lines. Couldn't act his way out of a paper bag. What does he bring to the role that I don't? That's what I said. Bring to the role. Look, she says, if you don't want the part, just say so. Trying to get rid of me now, is she? What on earth makes her think she's a director anyway? So I muster up my dignity. I do not say I'm an artiste, but that is exactly what I'm emanating at her. Does she see it? Try it again, love. Keep it straight, keep it simple. Love? My feet are killing me. Silence. Again? I mean, all this fuss. I've only got the one line.
I don't like parties. I used to, life and soul. Nowadays, I prefer my own company. Not unhappy with this social distancing. Self-isolation is just fine. They do say that no man's an island, and I still see people. This Zoom nonsense. Everybody talking at the same time. You have to ask to make yourself heard. Permission to speak. It's like being back at school. So when did I change from this outgoing, sparkling, smiling, cheery type who exudes warmth? Someone once asked. I don't know. You're just being a miserable git is all. No wonder people think of you as a curmudgeon. Ibis in Arabic. How do I know that? Oh. It's the lines on your face. You haven't got any natural smile lines or laughter lines around your eyes. Just look at yourself. Has the light really gone out of your eyes? They started me on that side talopam. Supposed to cheer you up. Then you can't drop it, because if you do, you get withdrawal symptoms. Vicious circle. I have plenty to say. Motor mouth. Used to be. Don't get me going, I would say, and then I would go on and on and on. Not that I have less to say these days. And there's always some people that will listen. Just. Maybe I like to listen these days. No, I don't. I'm fed up with people rattling on and on about the same stories over and over. My father in the war. Get over yourself. So, what turned you into this grumpy old man? The shudder of the dying day in every blade of grass. Remember that? That's what it is, and brings the eternal note of sadness in. Fancy quotations won't justify you being a miserable old git, and drinking on your own's not going to help either. You never do that count your blessings thing. You know, the count your blessings thing that your mother taught you. Count your blessings thing for a game of soldiers. Where do you get this tosh from? Yeah, okay. Think positive. Plenty to be glad about. Health, that's the main one. Well, you're not Leonard Cohen, and you're never going to be Leonard Cohen. Not Prince Hamlet. Remember, just learn to live with it. Cliches. No fall like an old fall. Would love to fall in love again. Fall in love again. But I'd probably make a complete idiot of myself. Anyway, you hear of people all the time being scammed out of their money all the time. In Arabic, apparently, there are more than 40 words for fart. The fart in Arabic. Now, doesn't that bring a smile to your face? Duradat warma. Old farts. There you are, they've even got a name for you. You used to make people laugh. Don't tell me you don't find things funny anymore. Lose your sense of humour and you might as well be dead. Absurdity. Absurdity always made you laugh. Standing on the brink of the abyss. What are you going to do if you don't laugh? Gallows humour. Ha, bloody ha. Laugh. Laugh! Laugh! Laugh!
I wrote this piece earlier this year when, in response to a card I saw on my brother's fridge with a beautiful black and white photograph on it, and hidden amongst all the clutter of life, cheap fridge magnets, children's drawings, invitations out. Willem and Marianne. Willem and Marianne, I look at your beautiful image as you walk away, hand in hand. I wonder where. It looks like a beach, or is it just the way you're dressed? I love your trousers, Willem, with the braces and the left leg rolled up. You look solid, but fit, with such a wonderful shock of curly grey hair. I see you handsome, olive-skinned, with grey twinkling eyes. I don't know, I just see you that way. And it's funny. I find myself wondering what your left hand is rubbing off your face. You look strong, not waiting for death. But actually we all are. It's the nature of living, isn't it? I've just noticed your shirt. A favourite? Soft, well-worn linen. Perfect for this warm afternoon with your much-loved, warm Marianne. You're not walking heavily. You are light and easy, holding Marianne's hand as you have for so many years. You were young when you met. You still have that air. And Marianne, your hand's where it wants to be, safe in Willem's. You too have strong grey hair, not curly like Willem's. A light, well-used day pack is settled on your back. So Dutch. How many years is it? How many years that you have walked happy places with that pack on your back and Willem at your side? You're wearing, I think, a fleece around your neck and relaxed three-quarter shorts. Your right hand holds what? A phone? A pack of tissues? Not a pack of cigarettes, I hope. Too Dutch. Marianne, you and Willem walk relaxed and tall. You're not tall, but your conviction says you are. I can't see the horizon you're walking towards on this Dutch summer day, warm enough and dry enough. There's no need of the horizon. You walk together, and that's all that matters. Perhaps a shimmering sea in the distance, a sea that you've enjoyed all your life. And now I notice the date and place of the card. 17th of December, 2019. Urgeden. I'll have to look it up. I don't know it. Your happy place. And suddenly I see two other dates and places. 10th of September 1949, Tilburg. 28th of July 1952, Breda. Breda, I know it. Tilburg, I'll look it up. 17th of the 12th, 2019. So recent. Marianne, Willem, you were younger than I am. I stand in Mike's cluttered kitchen in Sydney, staring at the refrigerator door where you are both frozen, walking away. It's too late to tell you how moved I am. I didn't know you. Willem and Marianne. Willem and Marianne. Willem and Marianne. You made a decision that I don't think I could make. And why not? We all know there are only 3 certainties in life. We will be born, we will die, and we will live until we die. How hard was it to make that decision? Did you talk well into the night about every possible angle? Or were you very Dutch, straightforward, pragmatic, matter of fact? Knowing Marika, I guess the latter. I don't know your son Harem, but I know he's married to Marika, and that says it all. The act of ending it, I can imagine quite well. I've had enough anesthetics to understand I just wouldn't know. You had your family by your side. I think I couldn't do that. Too final? Well, it is, isn't it? How do you get to that point? I guess the thought of the alternative takes you there. And how was it for Marika and Harem? I know how it is now. They miss you terribly. Did you cry and hold each other a lot as you talked through these possibilities? Or was it businesslike with lots of forms to sign? Our wills are ready, but we still haven't signed them. I'm not frightened to sign them. Done it before. It's just one of those jobs you keep postponing because you've got to check all the details are correct. Willem and Marianne. It's difficult to get it. But I do understand. My mum is going strong. 108 last June. She just can't understand why.